So, all I want to know is where I can get my Jacob Eason jersey from.
Are we riding with Jacob Eason now? Yeah. Is that what we're holding on to now?
I have never seen a quarterback that I ain't never heard of just come into the game and just be like, you know what, I'm good fuck. I'm just start throwing.
Yeah, I respectfully say this. That is the saddest take in under construction history.
I mean,
that's how bad the quarterbacking was today. Is this where we're at? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. This is where we're at, y'all.
Welcome back to Under Construction.
Hey, y'all.
I am Kaiser Sose.
I'm Jamal. What am I today? I'm Jamal the fan today. I don't know what I am today, man.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We just watched a very interesting game between the Carolina Panthers and the Los Angeles Rams, in which the Rams pulled away in the second half to win 24-10 in a game that we were winning 10-7, and did an interesting job in the first half of the game. But ultimately, not being able to trust our quarterback doomed us from the second half on, as the Rams made an easy adjustment on both sides of the ball,
right,
and were able to pull away the game.
Yeah. First half gave us false hope, man, because I was clearly speaking in hindsight, but that game plan was not sustainable. It's obvious now. You're not going to beat a team like the Rams on. Do you know we attempted 8 screen passes in the first half, dude?
That's got to be the most in Panthers history.
Look, man, let's get him out of our system. He's going, okay, look.
There's nothing really to say. But first of all, we had heard the trade rumors prior to the game, and I'm sure he did. And he just seems like the kind of person to be real sensitive to that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
Oh, y'all trying to trade me?
If you wonder who we're talking about Mr. Robbie Anderson. Yeah.
So, but it's not like he was doing anything in the game.
Kaiser, not to toot my own horn, man, but throughout the last 2 seasons, man, I have been accused of this man of pouting and bad body language for the last 2 seasons. And there was an interesting tweet that came from a man not to describe, who said, "You had no smoke for Rule, but you want to cut up when the substitute teacher get here."
Yeah.
And that's what Robbie Anderson did today. He was the bad kid that showed out when the substitute teacher is here. That says a lot about your character, man. I hate to bash someone else's character. This is serious, right? But dog, that is a bad character flaw that I saw today, man.
When you're the coach, that's like Little League shit. That's like Pop Warner football shit. When your coach be like, "All right, back to the locker room."
Right.
Like,
we haven't seen that since the infamous Antonio Brown.
I was gonna say, which I don't even know if Bruce Arians threw him out the game. I think Antonio Brown just left because he was crazy.
It's all the same thing to me, man.
Yeah, but here's the difference. There's a big difference in Antonio Brown
and Robbie Anderson.
Right. As far as talent is concerned, and that just it's sad because it overshadowed an important game for the Carolina Panthers. And I know that it's easy to look at this game and be like, "Man, we suck," and da. But there were some interesting things to take away from this game.
Absolutely.
First of all, we were playing without Frankie Louvu. Chin was on IR. Yep. J.C. Horn was out.
Yep.
Those are 3 major defensive contributors.
And then during the game, Dante Jackson and C.J. Henderson. Although by the time C.J. Henderson left, I think he was just tired of getting his ass roasted by Cooper Kupp. I think, like, oh, my head hurts. Y'all, I need to sit down. That's all that was. But despite that, I feel like the defense played as well as it could. They played as well as they could, again, with the offensive game plan that just wasn't sustainable, man. And after a while, the defense was just on the field way too much, and you just can't expect it. But we've been saying the same thing all season. Now, I will say this. I want to make this very, very clear, okay? PJ Walker, I don't care how much of a fan anybody is a fan of PJ Walker. He's not a starting NFL caliber quarterback. It was clear as day. Steve Wilks does not trust PJ Walker. Okay?
Right.
And it was also very clear that he probably shouldn't trust PJ Walker. Let's make that very clear. So it is hard to win a football game with a quarterback you can't trust.
I think the game plan was mostly sound. You want to establish the run. You're going to use your 3 capable running backs to establish a run.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
I hadn't seen that.
We're out of college shit now, so we're going to use our NFL running backs.
I'm going to miss that saying. I'm going to miss that. I'm going to miss college shit just coming from you. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we establish the run, we control the ball, and we allow our QB to manage the game without putting the game in his hands.
Yeah.
The problem is that I don't think the play calling was creative enough to make an adjustment when the Rams made the adjustment. The Rams made the adjustment like, okay, all right, you're not going to beat us with McCaffrey on these little screens, these little smoke routes.
Good for that.
Yeah. You're not going to do that.
And speaking of that, I always say it's okay to give the other team credit. I will give the Rams coaching staff a lot of credit. Me and you talked about a lot how the Rams had to be creative to actually get something going on offense, because the vanilla play calling wasn't going to work against this defense, and it seems like almost every other play call was some jet screen or creative screen or some creative route with Cooper Kupp coming out the back. It was something like uber creative just to gain some type of momentum. But I have to give the coaching staff a lot of credit for doing that. They executed whatever they were running, and they ran away with the game in the second.
So, if you're the Rams, the worst rushing team in the league, and you see on the schedule, you got the worst rushing defense on the league, you're probably licking your chops, right?
Right.
Well, the Rams, they could not run the ball today. They only had – I'm sorry. They did have 111 yards rushing, which may seem like a lot, but they kind of put the game away near the end. And a lot of those were garbage time yards. They just simply could not establish a run.
And albeit with a very banged up, bad offensive line.
Yeah, and they had 29 carries amongst 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different runners to get those 111 yards. And 2 of those guys were wide receivers. That's how they had to run against the Carolina
That's how
Panthers.
You know you are stretched really thin when you got to dig that deep to get rushing yards. You're stretched pretty thin, man.
Yes. So I'm not upset at the Carolina Panthers defense, considering essentially they had to carry the game. Yeah. I was like, okay, you guys, the defense is going to have to carry the game despite not having 3 of our best players.
Queen City Hornets, that's not right, man. We'll talk about that later.
We'll talk about that. Unfortunately, we do have to talk about that in the second half of the show. Fly sweep plays, screens.
They did a fly sweep to the tight end that resulted in a touchdown. I think that's the one that pissed me off.
But you know what?
Man.
I mean, the Panthers defense was actually very aggressive, and that's what you do against aggressive defense. Yeah. And you notice late in the game, our defense was less aggressive. Yeah. We were running 3-man rushes, something that we despise, but they were dropping guys into coverage. But what they were doing differently, though, is they were dropping 8 guys in coverage and then having everyone come towards the line of scrimmage.
But I will also give them a pass with 3 or their top secondary guys out and 4, including C.J. Henderson at the end of that game. So I give them a pass. We had that many guys out, and you're relying on Keith Taylor as your number 1 cornerback. You got to switch it up. So I'll give him a pass. I, too,
have thrown my back out more times than PJ threw passes. PJ stats today: 10 for 16 for 60 yards, sacked twice for 9 yards, no touchdowns or interceptions. The quarterback rating of right at 70, but he only averaged 3 yards per completion, or 3.8.
Can't win like that.
You can't win that way.
No,
you can't win. You cannot, unless you can if your defense is just dominant.
Right.
And there's no way our defense was going to be dominant, missing that many key players. Right. You can't miss Luvu, Chin, and Horn, and win, because that's our back end right there.
Yeah.
So
so with that being said, man,
CJ don't even count. he might as well not even be on the team. I don't even know what else to say about C.J. Henderson.
All right, so here's a question I want to ask you, man. This is interesting. Now, granted, the last time we won with P.J. Walker, Cam Newton was kind of like the de facto 1B quarterback.
Right.
Okay. Now, what's the difference between P.J. Walker then and P.J. Walker now to where Wilkes didn't trust him at all today? What do you think that was? And I'm not saying I'm not even saying Wilkes was wrong.
Okay, so we talked about this right as the game was starting. We both like P.J. Walker.
Right.
Everyone likes P.J. Walker. But what is his biggest issue is
his decision making.
His decision making. There's no way that you could trust someone with that level of decision making against a Rams front four.
Great point. Also, I think the game probably would have been even worse. Could you imagine if we actually turned the ball over like more than what we did today? And that's totally possible if you let P.J. Walker just kind of drop back and sling it around.
Truck it. Hey, but Jacob Eason came in and he was
Jacob Eason had nothing to lose.
Okay, so I'll put it in perspective. P.J. Walker went 10 for 16 for 60 yards.
Right.
Jacob Eason went 3 for 5 for 59.
Now, granted, one of those was a 50-yarder to
Christian McCaffrey.
But still, however, the mindset that I'm gonna come in here and try to win this damn game, I applaud that young man.
It didn't work out. I don't know who he was throwing to when he threw that. Actually, that was a good defensive play. Actually, defender batted the ball and. They got
and not to mention their Rams might have got away with yet another holding call too. But
okay, y'all know I don't ever complain about the refs, but how many holding calls can you miss? Oh. And then actually, I want to go back up here to a comment that James Sidbury made. Questionable roughing the passer calls against the league lately. Yeah. But Jalen Ramsey goes helmet, and there's no flag.
And James, to that point, James, they took PJ out of the game for a head injury, but they don't throw the damn flag on the same play. Mind-boggling. The
CJ stand for can't justify. Good one.
That's an awesome one.
That's a pretty good one.
Probably at this point.
Yeah, definitely. Overall, though, was this like I named the episode "No Moral Victories," but maybe was this kind of a moral victory? Because I will say there was a difference in the Carolina Panthers.
There was a difference,
and I think if Baker Mayfield or even Sam Darnold had been out there today, our chances are better. I'm not sure if we win, but it's not 24-10.
I'll put it to you like this: when I first came over here today, the first thing we said was, man, we're not going to see any more college shit. I ain't seen the college shit. Listen, y'all, here's what we mean by that. Last week, it was documented that Wilkes and Rule didn't see eye to eye on a lot of the play calling stuff and a lot of the coaching stuff, so to speak. Today's game, I saw a team that looked like they were more professional. I will give Steve Wilkes this much credit. He had a game plan, and he stuck with the game plan. You got to respect that. We've seen so many times in the Matt Rule era, we're going to run the ball and we're going to be this team. And they look like a completely damn different team as far as the game plan. So I respect Wilkes for doing that. And look, I just think Wilkes, he did what he could with what he had. What he had wasn't going to get it done either way. You know what I mean? So credit to Steve Wilkes for at least sticking to the game plan, at least attempting to make adjustments, right? Right? Did we not see him attempt to make adjustments in the second half? It just didn't work out, man. So props to Steve Wilkes.
Yeah, there was a noticeable difference in the tone, even the players' attitude,
the spirit of the team, right?
Yeah.
Beside one guy.
But I mean, they were out there trash talking,
spirited, flying around.
I felt like they were,
I know what you're about to do.
I'm about to.
I know what you're about to do. but anywho, man, like I saw a team that looked at least a little more prepared to play. Man, I saw some play calling that wasn't as questionable as outside of maybe now we did say this. To be fair, let's be fair. We did say this. We did want to see PJ Walker at least try to attempt to throw the ball down the field just to keep the defense honest. You know what I mean?
Right.
But at the same time, you still have that fear of his decision making and him turning the ball over. So I get it, but I still do wish we would have at least tried to test the Rams a little more in that way.
Yeah, they were saying this during the broadcast. You got to keep the defense honest. You have to keep the defense honest. And if you cannot do that, then the game's easy.
Then you're toast.
They were able to make an easy adjustment. They knew that we were not going to go downfield at any time. I'm going to share a beam with y'all.
We need to laugh around here, y'all.
Yeah,
we got something coming your way. By the way, everybody, phone lines are open. And if you would like to call in, that number is 704-941. And I'm forgetting the number, but give me one more second. I'm sorry. The number is 704-981-1747. And this hilarious meme is popping up. But again, if you want to call in, man, that number is 704-981-1747. That looks a lot like Robbie Anderson.
That does look like Robbie Anderson.
And that looks like his face when he walked off the field today. Like, man, this is some bullshit, man.
Come on, man.
Yeah,
come on.
I ain't even going to be here next week, man.
Yeah,
So, let's talk about that. Trade deadline, November 1st. What do you think is going to happen?
Nothing. Well, Robbie Anderson's gone. But otherwise, so we talked about Christian McCaffrey being traded.
Yeah.
Because
you better not. That's why I'm just going to say that. And if you do, I'll let you go.
Here's why. A lot of people were happy to hear the news that teams were looking to trade for Christian McCaffrey.
Right.
Because a lot of people felt like, we overpaid for a running back, which you don't do in the NFL. Also, we overpaid for someone who's injury prone, although at the time that we made the deal, he was not injury prone. But there's something people are forgetting. Christian McCaffrey's contract was heavily front loaded. He's only set to make $12 million over the next 2 seasons.
Right.
And next season, he's only set to make $11 million. He'll make about $1 million this year and then $11 million next year. Of course, everyone wants to trade for him because he's dirt cheap right now.
Right.
So if you're the Carolina Panthers, the time to have traded him was back when you still owed him $40 million guaranteed dollars, not when he's only got $12 million left to pay up.
With that being said, if you are willing to deal with Chris McCaffrey, you better not get fleeced on that deal because you like you said, you're dealing ultimately a very cat friendly contract. So,
absolutely.
So as far as what you get back, it better be a damn haul. I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
I'm talking about multiple draft picks haul. Like if you're going to do that,
there was a rumor earlier that Brian Burns was also his name was being.
I don't understand that.
Yeah, that one's kind of puzzling. Brian Burns doesn't make a ton of money. Pass rushers are very, very valuable. They're probably the second most valuable position.
Without him, who do we have?
Exactly.
Go ahead.
That's puzzling. What it probably is that teams are calling because there's probably this feeling in the league that Tepper might blow the team up, and so teams are coming after our good players. That's natural. I don't see Brian Burns being gone. McCaffrey, if the deal of the lifetime comes around,
it better be.
Then maybe. But considering that he's cheap again now,
right.
I don't see that happening.
So, all right, I'm going to make an argument, and you try to make a counter argument against this. All right, you're the Panthers. Okay, you have talent on the roster. We agree there, right? There's sprinkles of talent on this roster.
Correct.
Why do I totally reset? Because my record is bad anyway. I'm gonna get a high first
exactly.
round pick.
And here's the thing: I don't think the Panthers aren't good enough to be locked into mediocrity like the Hornets are. The Hornets, the problem with the Hornets are that they're too good to be bad,
right? And they're not bad enough to be totally reset,
right? Exactly. Right. They're not bad enough to try and get Victor in the draft. Whereas,
don't get me started on that.
The Panthers, I mean, there may be a 6-win team, which may not get you the number 1 pick, but
it gets you in the top 10.
It gets you in the top 10, which in the NFL, that
could change the franchise.
You get exactly who you want. Exactly. We have too many good pieces to totally reset or rebuild, and I don't think that we fire sell them off to other teams. I mean, honestly, you put a competent quarterback on this team.
That's where I was going next.
And it's completely different.
That's where I was going. I was going again. I was just going to say, man, like how much does a quarterback change this whole entire thing, man? Because, you know, we basically every week come on here talking about how tired the defense is because the offense can never sustain anything. How much does that change with a damn quarterback? You know
exactly. Yep. I mean, we already see what McCaffrey looks like this season. So he's having a healthy season.
Right.
This is real wood, by the way. Right. He's having a pretty decent season. He's easily the best player on our team. You trying to tell me you don't want to try and capture that with a good quarterback?
Speaking of good core of players, Derek Brown, if there was one player that looks like he's so happy Matt Rule was gone.
I'm going to toot my horn. What I say right before the game started. I said, I feel like Derek Brown going to have a big game. And he had a really, really good game. He was very, very disruptive, even if it doesn't all show up on
the stat sheet.
Stat sheet.
Right. I thought he was the most impactful guy on defense.
On the stat sheet, he had 7 tackles, half a sack, 2 QB hits. That's
not bad at all.
That's about as good as you can ask from your starting defensive tackle. But yeah, he looked like he had a complete weight lifted off his shoulder. And I don't know if you guys throughout the week were reading what was coming out from the Panthers organization, unnamed sources, but a lot of people were saying a lot of different things about Matt Rule
and Derek Brown
and Derek Brown, amongst other people. But I guess the team had asked Derek Brown to lose weight so that he could become a better pass rushing defensive tackle.
Which was kind of the fundamental difference between Rule and Wilkes, because they had that same disagreement with the linebackers.
Right.
Rule, it was documented that Rule wanted linebackers that are a little light in the ass, and that can kind of cover the field better, I guess.
Yeah.
And Wilkes likes his linebackers a little more meaty, which, again, fundamental difference.
College. That's not college. In the NFL, you want big linebackers,
right?
I mean,
I thought so.
Think of all the best linebackers in history, either middle or outside. Doesn't matter.
But, hey, here's my Booger McFarland moment. Here it comes. Don't you want your linebackers big and fast?
Yes,
because it's damn NFL, right?
Exactly. Yes.
Wasn't Thomas Davis pretty big and fast?
He was a big guy.
There we go. There we go.
Yeah, same thing. That also came out.
That's a good point, Jeffrey.
That Jeremy Chin wasn't sure what they wanted his role to be either, because they didn't know college shit.
And if a smart coach would just put Jeremy Chin all over the field, in my opinion, I mean that's the kind of
you
guy
could use Jeremy Chin as a weapon.
You could use him
everywhere. You could have him play linebacker,
that hybrid linebacker safety
in
position
certain situations.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I thought the play calling defensively was better.
Yeah.
Offensively, it was just limited by the fact that they didn't want PJ Walker throwing all over the field.
And then when he did throw, outside of the screen passes, then when he threw the ball, it was like, what are you looking at, dude? Like,
there was no variation in I'll say this about the Rams. Their screen passes were
they executed better.
Yeah, they did. They were like,
you made a good point, man. During because I was so pissed off at all the screen passes we were calling. And you were basically saying the Rams are doing the same thing because they wanted to mitigate our pass rush against their bad offensive line. But the bottom line is they have better talent and they executed, and a better quarterback, and they just executed their game plan better. And that's pretty much it, man.
Yeah, that's the story of the game, honestly. And we weren't expecting the Rams to win. We weren't expecting the Panthers to win this game, and I thought that they might have even gotten blown out. And you look at the score, and you may think that the score looks like the Rams are dominant, but really they weren't.
Not to me, man. It wasn't some overly impressive win by the Rams.
Yeah,
honestly.
if you're a Panthers fan, being up 10-7 at the half, with leading in time of possession and yardage gained, that's a huge. I don't know if we'd ever had that at any point in the season.
Man. Right.
So, all right, offensive MVP.
Who else, man?
Jacob Eason, I know, right?
Other than Jacob Eason,
okay, Johnny Hecker. Okay. I do. It seems like I do this every week, but I'm gonna read off Johnny Hector's stat line.
Hey, Hector's a bad dude, man.
7 punts, 362 yards with a long of 68.
That's crazy.
3 of those punts in the 20.
That's crazy.
2 he just kicked into the end zone because he was like, "Fuck this."
Right. They're gonna score anyway.
Average 51 yards a punt.
It's a bad dude, man.
That's ridiculous.
However, I will say Chris McCaffrey, 7 catches, 89 yards, 13 carries, 69 yards, man.
I mean, come on.
Yeah. He was the entire offense, basically, which is not a surprise, right?
Yeah, that's why would okay, if you trade Christian McCaffrey, then trade everybody.
What do you have if you trade Christian McCaffrey?
If you trade him, then you are really saying, okay, we're tanking and get rid of everyone.
Man, okay, here's some more Booger McFarland analysis for you, man. They've got to find a way to get the ball to receivers, regardless of Robbie Anderson, which is probably not.
I hope the wide receivers coach was telling him get open,
right?
And that's why they started fighting. Why you ain't passing me the ball? Get open.
Yeah, you're not open, sir. Yeah. That's simple.
That's it. Yep. Who's your defensive MVP?
I going back to what I said, I thought Derrick Brown made the biggest impact during the game.
Hey, how about Corey Littleton?
Littleton did play a good game, man.
He had the shared sack with Derrick Brown, and he had a QB hit. He was talking some trash on the sidelines.
10 tackles today.
Yeah, so I mean, we have a coaching change.
And the guys that didn't look good.
Miles
Hartfield, who I talked a lot of shit about.
He was like, man, he trash. He played great today.
He played a good game today, man.
Yeah.
Played a good game today.
Even Shaq Thompson had 2 passes defended and 2 tackles for a loss.
Yeah. But
is this really just from a coaching staff change?
Well, I'll tell you this. I won't answer you directly, but I'll say this. I'm interested to see what this team looks like when we have at least a halfway healthy roster. Because it's kind of uncertain right now. Henderson's in concussion protocol. Dante Jackson seems like he's always hurt. We don't know exactly when Luvu's coming back. I think Chin is another 2 weeks away, if I'm correct, man. So I want to see this defense and this team. And listen, I cannot believe I'm saying this, y'all. I can't believe we've come to this point. What's going to happen when Sam Darnold comes back? Oh, my God. This is where we're at, Panthers fans. I'm really kind of excited about Sam Darnold coming back because I do at least want to see a quarterback on the field who's going to throw the damn ball down the field or who Wilkes will allow to throw the ball down the field.
Comment of the day. The NFL Panthers are 0-1. Yeah, they finally showed up. We said, it was like, man, look like an actual NFL team out there today.
They did at least look like an NFL team today, outside of quarterback. But yeah, I like that.
Up next on the Panthers schedule, they play the Bucks, which sucks because really sucks. We do play them in Charlotte, but the Bucks lost today. The Bucks lost today, and they're probably not happy about that.
We know how Tom Brady is after losses.
Yep.
Not good.
Yep. So
predictions. You want to take this one first?
So, I mean, we don't even know if PJ Walker's going to play next week.
So, we got Jacob Eason. So what?
That's true. Jacob Eason. I'm putting my money on Carolina. I forgot. My bad. I was all day.
If Jacob Eason beats Tom Brady, man, Lord have mercy. But, all right, man. Predictions, bro. What you got, man?
Seriously, I think we get dog walked by Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay's not having a great season by their expectations.
Their defense is still good, too.
Yeah, the defense is still good. Our offense is still bad.
Right.
I don't care who suits up next week. It's not going to be Baker. It's not going to be Sam.
Right.
It's not going to be Cam.
Right.
It's going to be PJ Walker again, probably.
Yep.
And
you cannot do anything against that defense with what we did.
Plus, the game plan is out. You think Bruce Arians ain't going to look and be like, hey, man, they're just going to run McCaffrey over and over. So, yeah.
You gonna name a score? Hey, man, this is my look. Panthers fans, I apologize.
34-10.
You going 10?
I think we get 10.
I'm going.
I think we actually score a touchdown.
I'm going 27-3, man. I don't know how we're gonna score. I literally don't know.
McCaffrey will get some breakaway. Shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, can I share something real quick that not necessarily Panthers related, but I got to share something. How disgusting is it that the Falcons beat the 49ers today? Because Danny Thompson is punk. He's in the chat. Danny Thompson he's in the chat. He's huffing. And then Pollard is
Robbie Island boy. He's an island boy. Now he needs a job.
It's so disgusting seeing them beat the 49ers, man.
Well, but we said this when we saw the score. 49 or the Falcons have a better offense than us.
That's an understatement.
So, whereas if we'd had a better offense, we probably would have beat the 49ers last week because
it was the same old story.
Yeah, exactly.
Same old story.
Yeah. Last thing. Willie Smith said, "What if we beat all of our conference opponents? Man, that would be something.
That'd be awesome.
Boy, that'd be
awesome. I don't see it happening. But.
Yep, I don't see it happening. Yeah. Bucks and then the Falcons. We'll win that. It's easy win though.
I still think we'll beat the Falcons. I'm sorry.
We'll beat them in Charlotte. We'll lose in Atlanta.
Yeah, that's fair.
And then the Ravens. That's a loss.
Who lost today?
They did lose today, but it was
Yeah. I don't see a lot of wins on this schedule, bro.
Hey, we still got the Broncos and Seahawks.
Broncos suck.
Broncos suck.
The Broncos are pretty bad.
So I'm holding out hope for those. I think we might have righted the ship a little bit some by that Seahawks game.
Plus, that's fair.
Plus, like this was the first time in like a million years we may be better than the Seahawks. Flat out.
Right.
I mean, I can think of maybe like 2 seasons in the last decade that we've been better than the Seahawks.
Danny says we're not winning that Thursday night game in Charlotte. Oh, by the way, Charlotte sports fans, that Thursday night, the Hurricanes, Hornets, and Panthers all play that night. That is November 10th, so that's going to be a very eventful night.
Yeah, we're winning that game, Danny.
We're winning that game. We are. That's how we're confident. Yeah.
Be serious.
Yeah.
Will they win the bye week though?
No, probably not. Yeah. I got the bye week by 3.
Yeah, ESPN probably has bye week by like 70%, some crap like that.
Oh, man.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So let's talk about
the lovable
basketball team. So the Charlotte Hornets played in the time since you saw us. They played 2. They played Washington.
And the
76ers.
Yep.
Both losing both of those games.
Didn't win a preseason game.
Did not win a single preseason game.
I don't care, by the way. I just wanted to mention that.
Went 0-5.
Yep.
But I felt like that last game against the 76ers, they didn't look terrible.
I saw a tweet that summed it up. The Hornets lost the Summer League portion of that game. And it's kind of been the same story throughout a lot of the Now, other than that drubbing we took against the Celtics the first game, it's been same story all preseason. The starters, they hold their own or they have a lead and the kids come in and blow it. And I want to share something I kind of thought about this week. So the Hornets made some under the radar type of moves in the last week. All right. They went out and got Theo Maledon from the Thunder.
They did.
Okay. And they also got the rights to Carson Edwards from, I believe, I can't think of the team. Somebody help me out. But let me tell you why that's interesting, Kaza. Let me tell you why that's interesting. You look at the Celtics, right? And we know how good their top-end starters are, right? But you look at their scrubs, and their scrubs are so much better than our scrubs.
Yes.
So what does Charlotte do? Charlotte said, we got to make our scrubs better. Right? And here's why this is important. Because if you really want to be on your way to being a viable franchise, you got to build, what do you call it? A program. And I think Charlotte is trying to take a little steps to become a better program. Because they're looking, you best believe they're looking at Thor bricking it up. They're looking at Jalen Crutcher, whoever the hell that is. And they're probably thinking, you know what, man? We got to make our farm system a little better. And I like the fact that they went out and made these little moves that nobody think matters, okay? But I like the fact that they did that. And I just want to share my thoughts on that, man.
Well, isn't that's really how you build good teams.
Oh, we're going to talk about LiAngelo in a second, bro.
That's really how you build good teams on the back end.
Yeah.
There have been, I think in NBA, it doesn't work like people think it does if you front load your team with stars and then you've got nothing
in the back.
Everyone loves to use the Golden State Warriors as like the gold standard now.
But they drafted all the guys.
Well, not only that, but they've been deep. Look at all of their championship runs. Jordan
Poole is not an anomaly. He's a homegrown. When I say homegrown, I mean Golden State Warriors grown talent.
They had Sean Livingston could have started on any team in the league.
Right.
They could have started. Sean Livingston could have started any team in the league, but he came off the bench in Golden State. Those kind of guys that you need to build a good team, and I think the Hornets are trying to do that. That's why they make these moves. Having said that, though, without LaMelo Ball, though, they really need. They're going to need someone that can run the offense and have great point guard play.
Yeah,
And I know that Terry can run.
I don't want to hear it, man.
I don't want to run the point, but I don't think that since he's been here, that has been the best role for him.
Yeah, right.
I like him as a catch and shoot guy, scorer, light it up every once in a while.
The analytics tell you he's better off the ball catching and shooting. Now back to the 76ers game. You know what I noticed, man? Hey, look, this is real wood, right?
100% fine.
Gordon Hayward looked spry.
Boy, I was about to say the same thing.
He looked healthy.
It was a lot of silence in the Hornets Facebook group.
He looked happy.
Yeah.
He got a new bad haircut that surprisingly is the big talk of the town. Well, whatever, man. But importantly, man, he looked healthy. And he was playing defense. Oh, my God. Steve Clifford was getting Gordon Hayward to play some real perimeter defense.
You know what's going to happen? Gordon Hayward's going to have a great season. And then, no, he's not. I bet he's not going to get injured.
Okay.
He's not going to have a major injury. Everyone gets injured in the NBA.
Right.
But he's going to have a really good season. Yeah. Now, next year will be the last year of his contract. And boy, teams are going to be lining up. Yeah, you know what?
But you know what? In all fairness, if the right deal comes along, they should still do it.
They should
still do it, even if he's.
Because I don't think he'll restructure his contract to stay in Charlotte. I don't think that's happening. So if he's not going to do that, then trade him and get a really good piece.
Right.
Because we don't know what's going on with Miles Bridges.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. All right. Let's just go ahead and talk about it.
Let's go ahead and get this out the way.
Charlotte Hornets wave LiAngelo Ball.
Goodbye.
So like I say, you've said it, I've said it, Rodney has said it. If his name was
LiAngelo Thomas.
Yeah, Ladarius Wentworth III, we would not be talking about this.
We'd not be talking about this.
Yes. But because his name is LiAngelo Ball. That's the only reason we're talking about it. And I saw someone bring up a really good comment on another post. LaMelo Ball's a grown ass man. He don't need
his big brother around.
He don't need a security blanket.
He ain't 16 years old.
No, yeah. This is his team. He does not need Leanne. I'm sure he would like to play with his brother.
See, somebody's counter argument, right? Oh man, if the Nats are sent to the Krupo players in Milwaukee's good enough to waste that roster spot. That's fine.
Imagine if Steph Curry had left the Warriors when they cut Steph Curry all those years ago.
It's a flawed argument.
Yeah, get y'all, man. It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense.
LaMelo Ball does not need LiAngelo Ball.
Yeah.
Would I have liked to see LiAngelo Ball be better and contribute to the team? Absolutely. The Hornets need all the help they can get from every position.
And this is not important, but I'm never going to hate on anybody on the Hornets. I always want somebody on the Hornets to be better, because if they're better, that makes us better. So LiAngelo Ball fans, don't come with us and be like, oh, y'all hating on LiAngelo Ball. No, I've just never thought the guy was good. The Detroit Pistons obviously didn't think he was good. And the G League obviously didn't think he was good because he didn't get drafted. So the Hornets are now saying, sorry, you're not good enough to make this roster.
I need someone to point out to me what makes LiAngelo Ball special. What elevates him over other players at his skill level, either on the Hornets or in the G League or anything else. I don't see any.
He's not there.
People always say, well, size and shooting. Well, first of all, there's a lot of people that have size and shooting, and he's not.
No, we got 7'3" dudes making 3-pointers.
Yeah, but he's not like even that great of a shooter. He's not like a 3-and-D kind of guy.
Yeah, well, you gotta actually play defense to be a 3.
That's true. Yeah, I'm not like sweating that LiAngelo Ball didn't make
it. Listen, man, I wish him all the luck. And like you said, I think at best he can become a PJ Tucker type of player, and I hope he gets there. But he's just not there.
We talked about this before. The Seth Curry example,
right?
Seth Curry was not that great when he came into the league. He had to toil around the G League back and forth between different teams before finally he found his niche and his role as a 3-and-D kind of guy.
Right. And,
now look at him.
Yeah.
So
and if anything, man, I think they've kind of, I don't want to say coddled, but they've tried their best to.
Yes. The question is, will he go back to Greensboro?
That's possible.
Probably. That's possible. The Hornets do retain his rights.
Yeah.
But we are some haters.
Yeah, we are some haters, by the way.
Is Book Night Monk 2.0?
Not yet. He's on the way, but not. I'm still holding out hope.
You know what? For some reason, people think I'm a Malik Monk hater, and I think I've been hard on him. Right, near the end of his tenure as a Hornet, and then him moving on, because I was one of the people that had a lot of high hopes for Malik Monk.
Same.
And I was just very disappointed in him. But regardless of what he felt about the different coaching staffs that he was coached under, did you ever see Malik Monk? And he used to do a lot of boneheaded things,
right?
But like fighting with the coaching staff, he never did anything like that.
He never publicly came out and kind of trashed on. He never did that. Never.
Exactly.
Never.
He never even, now granted, he got in
some trouble
for doing drugs, but that wasn't even public.
Right.
Unlike James Bouknight, who
got kicked out of the UConn game.
After fighting with his coach on his bench and then gets kicked out of a college basketball game. That's at least Malik Monk wasn't doing that. But here, James Bouknight has not had a great preseason. Okay,
right.
So a lot of people were saying,
jumping off the boat. Oh my God! But fans are jumping off the James Bouknight boat, bro.
Well, and a lot of people were saying,
woo-wee.
Well, he had surgery on his hand. He was injured. And to that I say, remind me again how James Bouknight injured his hand. Somebody in the comments. How did James Bouknight injure his hand?
Not being mature.
Yeah, because I know how he injured his hand. If he doesn't do that, he doesn't have surgery, and we can't use that as an excuse to why he wasn't shooting that well during the preseason. The truth is, he's got to be better. Really,
not only does he
really has to be better.
Not only does he have to be better, he has to be more mature, just like Monk had to mature, just like Monk had to grow up. I'll say this much about James Bouknight. Here's what I know about James Bouknight. All right, and this is a positive. James Bouknight is a very passionate player. I've seen this dude at UConn enough to know this. He loves basketball, and that matters. That he wants to get better. He wants minutes. He wants to contribute. He has that quote unquote dog that makes you a good player, but he has to put that together with some maturity in order to earn those minutes. Now, one positive thing he has on his side, Clifford likes him. Clifford seems to really like James Bouknight, and Clifford has given him a lot of opportunity in the preseason. He gave him a lot of opportunity in the preseason. He was the first man off the bench in a couple of those games, and that's very telling to me. All right, and to be fair, it looks like he got his shooting touch together a little bit in the last preseason game.
Yeah, I think he played pretty well against Philadelphia.
And I don't want to talk, I don't want to make too much out of preseason either way, man. But at least he has that going for him. But with all that being said, he has to show improve. It's that simple.
Yep, that's it.
It's that simple, dude.
You just gotta be better.
Your opportunity is going to be there. You have to take advantage of it. It's that simple. And I don't want to hear the stuff about, oh man, the Hornets, they're going to waste another draft. I don't want to hear that. It's up to him. He's got to take it, man.
So, Clifford actually in the preseason has been pretty nice to the young guys, which has been very surprising considering what we know about Steve Clifford. Which leads me to my next question: who are you rolling with? Mark Williams or Nick Richards? Because I think Plumlee is, although he's still the starter, I think he's going to fall out of the starting rotation.
That's what it looks like to me.
Nick Richards has been playing more minutes in the preseason than Mason Plumlee. I don't think that's by accident.
I can't believe I'm saying this. It would not surprise me if we see Nick Richards start.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me.
I agree.
Because here's what we all know about Steve Clifford. He values rim protection. He really values that. And I say that to say, I think Clifford is going to be a little more patient with the young player stuff, meaning the foul trouble, maybe not paying attention to the details. You know what I mean? I think he'll be a little more patient with that. He values the rim protection way more and the athleticism a little more than the kid stuff, so to speak.
Right.
So with that being said, man, I agree with you. I think I will go as far as to say, with Mason Plumlee being on an expiring deal, wouldn't surprise me if he's gone by the trade deadline.
Absolutely.
I really could see him falling down to the third guy. I could really see it.
Plumlee has not played terrible in the preseason,
right?
All,
to be
actually,
fair, right?
But it's just that Nick Richards has gotten an opportunity. But here's the thing: I feel like Mark Williams has played just as well as Nick Richards with less time.
Let me tell you something about Mark Williams, man. I'm a little bit guilty of overreacting to Mark Williams a bit when maybe the first 2 games of preseason, because he looked soft, he looked slow, he looked lost. Mm-hmm. But what the hell did I expect? You know what I mean? Like, rookie out there in his first couple of games, but later in the preseason, man. Dude, he looked like he belonged out there. He showed a lot of flashes, like Nick Richards was showing flashes out there.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that Mark Williams has the potential to overtake Nick Richards very quickly.
Right.
Maybe not by the end of this season, but whereas Richards was a slower project.
Yeah.
Not even really a project. We knew we were getting with Richards, but it just took him longer to come along, I think.
Kaza, here is a question that I really want to ask you, bro. And this is Rodney made this comment. For some reason, I can't highlight it. But he is asking us, are we over the Kai Jones project? What do you think about that, man? Because I know what I'm at with him.
Clifford did not seem to be that fond of Kai Jones in the preseason.
I see why, but go ahead.
He didn't get a lot of minutes. I just feel like if you got Nick Richards and Mark Williams, 2 natural 7-footers,
and you got stretch 4s on top of.
What do you need Kai Jones for?
Well, you need him for, right? Let me say this. I'm not over it because there's one word that needs to be highlighted in that question. Project. Projects ain't 2 years. All right. I've never seen a real quote unquote project be 2 years. And listen. I can't give up on Kai Jones, man, because I look at that athleticism, man.
Yes.
And I look at that raw talent and I'm like, God, man, if this dude ever puts it together, he could be insane. But on the flip side, I'm looking at some of the careless, stupid stuff he does on the court.
Still doesn't have the basketball IQ.
And he's goofy. You know what I mean? And they're just like, how patient, I'm not going to say me because I don't matter. How patient are the Hornets willing to be with Kai Jones, knowing he's a project?
It depends on what they want out of him. What do you want out of Kai Jones?
What do you think he's going to be?
So when they drafted him 2 seasons ago, first of all, it was like, okay, we need a center. And y'all can go back and look this up. Someone said that I was not telling the truth when I said this. But Kai Jones was the 2nd highest rated center in the draft that year, with DeAndre Ayton being the first. So, so we drafted a guy that was a project. Well, what do you want out of him? Do you want rim protection? Do you want him to try and be like another Miles Turner? Do you want offense?
Do you want a rim run guy?
Do you want a guy to just run and catch alley-oops? Whenever I see someone made a comment that Kai Jones has been working on his handles, and I did say Ayton. It wasn't Ayton that draft. It was
who was that draft? We don't know.
It was a center everybody wanted, and it was like it's that guy, and then nobody else after that. No,
we forget, man.
I'll look it up. But Yeah, I just feel whenever I see a player doing something like a center, like working on handles,
that gives me pause, man.
Yeah,
because I hate it. Because I hated it in the summer league. Remember when Kai Jones shot like 9 threes in the game? We were like, what the hell are you doing, man?
Right, yep. I just don't.
And look, now you asked the question, what do the Hornets want him to be? Kai Jones has to decide what he wants to be. You know what I mean? Does he want to be a 6'10 guard?
Evan Mobley.
Evan Mobley, yeah. Does he want to be a 6'10 guard? Do you want to be a real big man? Do you want to be a stretch four? What do you want to be? And I think once he answers that, then it'll be a little easier for him.
I do want to say this, though. If you know Miles Bridges ain't playing this year, and that's a gap, maybe you were like...
Maybe start working on stretch four stuff.
Yeah, maybe you say, okay, well, how can I take over the role? Because he certainly has the athleticism to do so. He doesn't have the shot. Miles Bridges was a better shooter coming out of college.
Kai Jones has a long way to go on his shot, man.
I don't know if I'm over the Kai Jones project, but I'm just afraid that he goes somewhere else.
And then somebody gets...
Imagine him on the Lakers.
Right.
Okay?
That would be disgusting. But
yes.
Yeah.
But,
right.
I'm just, he goes somewhere and he, hot flying Kai Jones, he used to play for the Charlotte Hornets. And we're just like, oh, there go another guy.
Remember Shannon Brown played for Bobcats, and then when he went to the Lakers, he was like,
a lot of guys. Boris Diaw won a championship.
Well, Boris Diaw just didn't care. Right? That's the
difference. He cared when he was winning the championship.
He didn't care here. He didn't give a flying.
Tyson Chandler.
Yeah, well, yeah. All right, moving on.
Moving on.
So, season starts Wednesday, man.
Yeah, we play the San Antonio Spurs.
Yeah,
I think we win that game. I think we win that game. I'd be more confident if LaMelo was playing. But I think we win that game.
I think we win that game. But what are you thinking for the season? You ready for record predictions? Because they're never. To be fair, we were fairly accurate last year.
Hey, I was one.
You was one game off. You know what I'm saying? So what are you feeling this year as far as record? What you got?
The same.
Right?
The same. 43 wins. Right around there. If Miles Bridges was playing, then I think a little higher. And I know people will say, well, the Hornets haven't made any big improvements. Okay, so let's assume for a minute. Let's say that even if Miles Bridges hadn't caught that case, that they had not made any other improvements elsewhere. Mm-hmm. I would hope that the team otherwise would have just naturally improved. That our young guys would
internal improvement.
Yes, that LaMelo is better. That Miles Bridges is better. They look like better. Everyone's better.
And then we're
just a better team. That's why you draft young guys and develop them. You don't draft young guys and then immediately go out to get guys that are better than the young guys that you drafted in the first place.
You don't trade them 2 years later because they're not superstars yet. Right.
So I'm hoping that internal development would have happened, and I would have predicted the Hornets to win more games. But the truth is, Miles Bridges might not play this season. His court date was pushed back again.
For the sixth time now, I think.
Yep. So he's probably not going to play this year. And
they need to move forward like he's not going to play this
year. And LaMelo's going to miss some games. A high ankle sprain. He'll probably miss the first two weeks of the season. Yep. So I'm going to say 43 wins.
All right. I'm going to go a little less. I'll go closer to maybe 39, 40. To pick a final number, I'll go 39. But let me say this. Let me say this, man. I believe in Steve Clifford. And I may be in the minority, and I'm gonna tell you why I believe in Steve Clifford. I said when we hired him that I'm holding out hopes that Steve Clifford has learned that he has to be a little more balanced. And what do I mean by that? He has to let that team be who they are. I think he knows that they can't run this half-court offense that he ran with Gerald Henderson and Michael Kidd. I think he knows that. Right. I think he's been around enough basketball to know that. But I think there has to be a balance between maybe slightly slower pace and more defense. And I think if that balance comes together, I think the Hornets can surprise people if that happens. I'm confident. I'm very, very, very confident that we will see a better defensive team with the Hornets. That's kind of all that was missing last year, was them committing to defense other than some consistency issues going on. You know what I mean? I think both things will correct themselves this year. I think the thing that will hurt ultimately is LaMelo being hurt for the
weeks and Miles Bridges not being there. I think those are the only two things that really hurt. I think if those two were there, I would roll the dice and pick them to win 50 games if those two were there. I really would. I'm confident. But I just think because of those two things, that's going to kind of hold them back from being the team I think they should be, man. No, I don't think we're going to be as terrible as some Hornets fan. Oh, man, tank for Victor. Here we come, 20 games. I truly don't believe that.
We have no chance at Victor.
Well, give it up. We don't have the kind of luck. Do we know our luck, y'all? Like, come on now.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. We have no chance at Victor. I just don't.
Yeah, give it up, y'all.
Yeah, LaMelo should start. He should, honestly, he should. I don't want to. LaMelo has missed a lot of games his first 3 seasons in the league. So you wonder.
Been foot ankle stuff, too. Yeah, I don't like that.
I mean, and a broken wrist. Could he be injury prone? I don't know.
I hope not.
I don't want to put that on. That would be just our luck.
That'll be
however
Charlotte luck.
But remember, Steph Curry was injury prone.
Yeah,
far more than LaMelo.
Yeah.
Is the beginning of his career. So yeah.
Yeah, Jamal just said it.
Yeah, Steph did too. Yeah. So maybe he can overcome. This. I was hoping LaMelo would bulk up a little more in the summer. It looks like he's more confident in being more aggressive to the basket just from the little we saw of him in the preseason. But he didn't look.
I didn't see anything visible.
I haven't seen. Right. He hasn't gotten his man body yet. Right. Sometimes when young NBA players come in, they still look like young, and they're like, oh damn, the guy grew up. I just remember like when LeBron James came in the league, he was. I mean. He had an NBA body, but it wasn't like
Zion Williamson too, man. But
Zion Williamson.
Speaking of Zion Williamson, he back. So before y'all see us, we have 2 games, right? Yep. San Antonio, New Orleans. What's your record for next week, man?
The New Orleans game is in Charlotte.
Yep.
Man, we find a way to lose one of those.
I think it's New Orleans. I go 1-1.
I think we're gonna go 1-1.
Yeah.
I feel like San Antonio is not that great.
Yeah, I think you want to talk about tanking. I actually think they're on the verge of tanking. Honestly.
Yeah, I think 1-1.
I go 1-1.
Zion's gonna want to make a big splash
in Charlotte. First time. I think first time in Charlotte.
First time he's played here in his home region, Yeah, Zion, man, Larry Johnson. That's what I see when I see him.
I see a better Larry Johnson, quite honestly.
I don't know about that, man.
I do.
Larry Johnson was really, really good.
We just Zion put up 26 in his sleep his first year before he got hurt.
LJ was doing that rookie year, man. To put up like 23-12.
Shout outs, brother. What you got, man?
This is one of my favorite shout outs that I've given out before to NASCAR fans. So y'all know I'm a racing fan, and today Bubba Wallace running in the front because he is now racing the 45 car. Even though he's out of the playoffs, the car itself, he is able to race because he's a replacement driver. So he's running. The car is much better than the car that he ran during the season. So he's running in the front a lot now, and he's in the lead actually, or he's fighting for the lead. And Kyle Larson, who stay with me here. This is the point I'm getting to with Kyle Larson because it's important. The fact that it was Kyle Larson.
I know where you're going with this.
So Kyle Larson comes up and tries to run 3 wide without, checking up like you normally do before, you draft some and then you kind of check up and you can try and squeeze in there. He just kind of bullied his way in there and it made Bubba run high and smack the wall. Bubba Wallace gets mad and then comes down and clips Kyle Larson and spins them both. Okay. They're both out of the race. And then after the race, he hops out of his car and runs over to Kyle Larson. Now, Kyle Larson immediately did not want any of that smoke.
No smoke.
No
smoke whatsoever.
But then it just kind of stopped right there, and then that was it. NASCAR probably won't levy any fines. Or they may level you. I don't know. They probably won't do anything. But Man, that's kind of the point. NASCAR fans are so upset.
Why? Hold on, but why?
Oh my God!
Wait, that doesn't happen in NASCAR ever.
NASCAR has no integrity if they don't suspend Bubba Wallace.
Oh boy!
What's crazy about that is Kyle Larson spun Kurt Busch earlier this season. His own teammate spun him to win the race, and everyone was like, "Oh, hey, let's just race him. Let's just race him."
You know what?
Gee, what could the difference be? Now, and here's people. I've said this in like little NASCAR Facebook groups or whatever. And people come at me, you don't always talking about black guy. NASCAR fans like Kyle Larson more because he said the N-word. Because he got in trouble for it, and they hated the fact that NASCAR suspended him for that.
That is the sad truth.
It is the truth. Yeah, nobody cared about Kyle Larson like they did after when he came back from his suspension and he won the cup. Oh my God, GOAT! You would thought Dale Earnhardt was just a nobody. Oh my God, Kyle Larson is the GOAT now. And then every time Bubba Wallace does anything, NASCAR fans just. My God!
Freak out.
I wish NASCAR stopped talking about Bubba Wallace. And so
remember, it was a noose in his joint.
Oh yeah,
that's fake. He put it there.
Yeah, that's a garage pool, clearly.
Oh.
So when I saw him spin Kyle Larson earlier, I thought, oh boy,
here we go.
And sure enough, boy, they was crying.
Oh man,
NASCAR is not going to suspend Bubba Wallace. So if you don't want to be a fan anymore, then. Yeah, Rubin's racing if it's the guy you like. Yeah. If it's the black guy, it's not racing. It's a felony.
I only have one shout at today, and that goes to Mr. Robbie Anderson, man. Have fun finding a new home somewhere because I highly doubt. I'll make a prediction and say they probably just shelve him next week. And by the deadline, which is November 1st, he is probably out of here. And it's probably time. So good riddance and happy trails to Mr. Robbie Anderson, man.
Sad how that ended because I liked Robbie.
I wished it worked out. I really did.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah. To be fair though, when the Baker Mayfield trade rumors were popping up, he made it clear he did not
crushed his face up. So
he did not want that to happen, but. You're a professional. You're getting paid more money than I'll ever see in 3 lifetimes to play a game.
Show up like a professional.
I hate to say shut up and dribble, but
show up like a professional.
Yeah,
I'll say that.
At least be that. Yes.
Yeah.
Be professional.
All right, man.
So, all right, that's gonna do it. Hopefully,
hey man, this is fun, man. I miss being here, bro.
Yeah. So we're gonna do some upgrades to the studio next week. I just didn't have time to implement them this week because I want to go back to actually releasing episodes of the podcast as well. And then but just for technical reasons we're unable to do that with the current studio setup, so I'm rebuilding the studio. This like next week is gonna, I don't know if it'll be ready by next week, I'm hoping, but I had to tear stuff apart, run cables and all that fun stuff. It's gonna be great. I think you guys will enjoy it. Also I might as well put this out here since there's only 10 of y'all. Okay, if you want to help under construction.
Yeah, we still need people.
Please reach out because there are a lot of things that we want to do with the show on a technical level, but we cannot because it's now just 2 of us. I need camera operators, audio engineers.
I would like to make an announcement too. If anybody is really savvy, and I do mean really savvy, and I'm not just talking about making posts. If you are a savvy social media person, hit us up. Because we need some help on the social media stuff.
If you do not know how to audio engineer, I will teach you. Okay, I will teach you. You can sit down at the console and rack your brain, just so I don't have to like yank my kids and be like, sit down and record this. So I'm just saying, I know a lot of you guys would love to contribute to Under Construction.
Reach out, y'all.
Yeah, we consider you guys family. So if you want to help out, let us know. So in the meantime, y'all have a good week. Take care of each other. All right.
We always appreciate y'all too, man.
Peace, y'all. Peace, y'all.